FEM Talk Nation!
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the individual speakers, commentators, guests, experts, and our hosts. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the network broadcaster channel and or program's policy or the views held by this network broadcaster channel or program. The network broadcaster channel or program cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Hello, FEM Talk Nation. Welcome back to another episode of FEM Talk. We are so glad that you are here. So listen, I'm going to bring in Shima She Talks.
Hello, FEM Talkers.
Hello. And we are missing our other co-host, Dr. Melissa Mimi Simmons, because she is on vacation, which is what we all are supposed to do. We are supposed to go on vacation because sometimes you just need a break and you need to woosah and you need to release. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, releasing. However, you know how we like to start this show. And I have to say to my bestie, you are always slow on the draw. We always get you with the hot topic video as you are about to say something.
I really am just saying hot topic every single time because that's all that's in my head. So it never catches before the hot topic blurb comes up.
I know. So in today's news, everyone, first and foremost, want to talk about the untimely death of a young woman named Sonia Macy from Springfield, Illinois. So the young lady, she called 911 to report that she thought that there was a prowler outside of her home. And 2 sheriff officers responded to that call. They spoke with her outside. Everything was calm when they spoke with her outside. They proceeded to look around her house and said that they did not see a prowler around the house. They went inside with her and they were speaking with her calmly and everything seemed to be calm. And the video's out there, so you guys can go take a look at the video for yourself. The video's out there, but everything appeared to be calm. And then they told her to check her pot of boiling water that was on the stove. Now, this young lady in the video had to go around something. I don't know. There was a lot of items in her house. So she had to go around something to get to her kitchen, to get to her stove. So I don't know if there was a countertop and then things on top. I'm assuming because I just saw a lot of items there. But she had to go around to get to it. The officers were on one side of all of the things that were there obstructing her kitchen, right? The line to her kitchen. and she was on the other side of it by her stove. She proceeded to take her pot from her stove over to what would appear to be some type of counter, again, something that was blocking from her living room where the officers were. So she was taking it to a portion of the counter, a portion of the kitchen there. All of a sudden, the officer said something to her about the boiling water. She came out and said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then you see the officer's guns go up. Now, again, she's on the other side of this obstruction. They're on one side, she's on the other side. That what you heard the officer say after shooting her was, I was not going to get hit in the face with boiling water. However, she would have had to have pulled the pot up, which I did not see, and throw it towards the officers in order for them to get hit with boiling water. So she was shot, I think, based on, how she was speaking to the officers versus any actions. Because I don't know, and Shima, you can tell me different, but I did not see her raise a pot. I didn't see that.
What I wanted to point out too is whatever that is in between where the cops were, which was the living room area, and where she was, which was considered the kitchen area. There's a partition. It's not it from what I'm looking at, and I'm looking at the NBC News video for anybody who's looking. It looks like a partition wall, something you'd see in like a call center. It's about 3.5 feet tall. So you could not walk through it. Up against it on the side where the police were was an actual seating area where you could sit with your back to the kitchen. And then on the other side was a whole lot of stuff that was in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
So,
but there were even things on the living room side as well.
Well, yeah, that a full seat where you have to sit with your back to the kitchen. So there was no walking through or stepping over. You literally had to go around, and from the wall, and I'm just giving perspective, from the wall outward to where they would have to walk around was a minimum of 5 feet. So it's not like, I take 2 steps, I'm in your face.
Right.
Or you throw water at me and it's going to go 5 feet. Right. There's a literal wall. I'm looking at it now. There is a wall that you have to go around. She was in the kitchen against the sink. So.
And she would have had to have hurled like a football. Have hurled this pot. You guys can see me. Yes. Yeah.
And shoot it like that.
Yeah.
For it to even project that way. Yeah.
And with all the obstruction, they would have had time to get out of the way because they were facing her. So they would have seen her actions in terms of trying to haul it at them. Absolutely. However, like I said, I didn't even see her raise the pot up in order to throw
holding it with pot holders and the 2 hands like this.
Yeah.
So even if she wanted to fling it, everybody's getting burned. She's going to burn her. She's going to burn them because she didn't have it in a manner that could project it to them.
Yeah.
Don't know. And the crazy part is the man who was in the front, who was doing all the talking, was not the man who shot her.
Right. Right. And you hear him
enough space, who was literally by the door in the intersection where her living room and the bedroom meet, because you can see from his camera the first bedroom shot from there. So you were in danger, but you were 2 to 3 feet behind the cop, who was 2 to 3 feet away from the lady.
Absolutely. A full mess is right. And listen, also at the end of that video, right, you heard the cop saying, get the kit. The one who shot her said, get the kit. The other one whose camera, and I was watching it on CNN, the other one said, she's down or she's gone.
Right. You can get the kit, but it's a headshot.
Yeah.
It's a headshot.
Yeah.
So you killed her.
Exactly. And did it have to be a headshot, right? Because let's just talk about, they are trained to shoot. They don't have to shoot to kill, right? So just want to mention that as well. And I've spoken to police officers in the past, right, who have said, listen, I'm going home. And I can understand that mentality. However, some training has to kick in. At some point. And when you are when you're not really in harm's way, is there really a need to shoot a person, let alone shoot the person in the head?
Right.
Right. So our hearts go out to the family of Sonia Macy. They are putting in articles that she had mental health issues. However, this was not a case where, she was, going into battle with. She did not. She did. She did not. She wasn't. They weren't arresting her, so she wasn't resisting arrest. It wasn't anything like that. They were responding to a 911 call that she made because she thought someone was outside of her house. So I think this is absolutely ridiculous. The officer who shot her did get fired, but we need more than that. There needs to be more justice than that because they should know better, and this should not continue to happen. So I just wanted to mention that. And we're just reading the comments here. I heard someone say recently, Black people are considered a threat in this country. I mean,
all the time.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
We're a threat with hot water. We're a threat with a lollipop. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We apologize.
Yeah. Yeah.
This skin is just so pretty. It scares you.
Yeah. Once again is right. So we're going to move on to our other hot topic. Just want to put this up there as well. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Exactly. We get shot, but somebody can get close to the president, shoot, and they have to react. Oh,
right. Okay. That's right.
These breezes to hear something he set up. My own opinion, not FEM Talks.
We already played the disclaimer, so
exactly.
But here we go. Just want to talk about our other.
Let's take it on a high note.
Yes, let's put it on a high note. So I was reading today. It says, "Is Kamala Harris now the Democratic nominee for president?" Well, no, she's not the nominee, but she has been endorsed by President Biden, and he has released to her the campaign funds that he had. They have been transferred to her. So, and it says that a huge wave of Democratic lawmakers and party elites have formally endorsed her candidacy.
Wonderful.
And the majority of the Democratic Party delegates are backing her. So she's not technically the nominee yet. However, we are hoping that she is considered in the same regard as President Biden, and that they continue with her nomination, and that they allow her to be on the Democratic ticket. We need her. I'm going to give my opinion when it comes to this. Because I have to say, first of all, Vice President Kamala Harris is only 59 years old, so they can't play this age card with her. She's really sharp. She's really intelligent. And when it comes to the debate, boy, I can't wait to see her debate with former President Donald Trump, because she's sharp. And I think she's going to bring in some facts. I think she's going to be able to go tit for tat with him on the issues and on some of his smart and sarcastic comments. I think she's going to be able to shut it down. So
I not entertain the chaos. Yeah, exactly. I can just see her.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to say President Kamala Harris. I'm putting it out there. These are my opinions, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm putting it into the universe. So anybody who wants to join me, just say it. President Kamala Harris. We just gonna put that in the universe. All those energies
are gonna connect.
Yes.
And grow.
Yes.
So everyone who believes it, say it.
Yes. Absolutely. So if we haven't said it before, get out and vote. Come November, you can send in your early votes, or get out there, get to the polls come November. Make sure that you are voting, because we want to see some changes here in this country. We want to make sure that we have a president that is for all people, right? And really make America great. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. I said it.
Without all the nonsense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just to bring up some other facts here. From ABC News, when President Biden dropped out, he had 3,886 delegates that pledged to support him, which is the majority, because there's 3,949 Democratic delegates. So he had the majority, and they wanted to just make clear too that if she is nominated, because President Biden was there and he dropped out, they don't have to, the Democrats don't have to vote for her. So, and they said that this would be different from what they call the faithless elector, where people pledge to vote for a candidate and they're supporting this candidate and then they vote for somebody else. In this case, it wouldn't be considered faithless. However, we're just asking that the Democrats consider who's on the other ticket and get behind Kamala Harris, make her the nominee, and support her when you go to the polls.
Yes, I just gotta say, this is probably something we would normally try to make it seem like, this is seamless, but we have a great producer, and he just sent me a message, and I just want to relay what he sent, because it is the voice of, or the words of, our
vice president, our president
Harris, that we are believing for.
Right.
She says, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, to California. Before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds, predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And this is what I mean by her having the ability to go toe for toe with the number 45, right? She will be able to go toe for toe, and she's going to be able to bring in. Exactly. And I want to see somebody who's going to be able to bring in the facts, right? All too often you see them arguing about things that are silly, that really don't have to do with anything serious about what needs to be done for the country as a whole. So I cannot wait. So listen, that's our hot topic. That is a hot topic for today, you guys. So make sure, again, I'm going to say this again, get out there. Vote. Your vote does matter. Your vote does count. So make sure that you get out there and vote.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely agree. So now we want to get into our topic for this evening. And I'm going to let you tell you what it is.
Oh, okay. We are talking about the cleansing process. I know you saw the name of the show. For this particular cleansing process, it's the internal, it's the energy, it's those blockages that we don't normally pay any attention to. It's the chakras in your body that hold all of these, I don't know if you want to say good energy, bad energy, blockages, like I said, and how I'm not necessarily telling you how to clean them out. What we are going to talk about is my personal journey. On our show, we've had a previous guest. Her name's Dominique Rivera. We've also her name is also the Oracle of Apollo. She is amazing. She is such a great spirit. If you've not seen the show, please go look on our YouTube channel, on our website, and look her up, because that was a good show. She is a great person, and her and I have been working together for the past couple of weeks, and she is working with me about cleansing all of those areas. We hear about them often. When you hear about the chakras and the areas in the body, you get more knowledge when you really work within them. And I was just amazed by what I found for myself, and what those areas hold. So we were just going to talk about those things tonight. I'm going to be a little more transparent than I normally am.
I want to just comment too that because of working with her, and I have worked with her myself, but I just wanted to mention that energy passes, right? And energy passes through, and you don't have to be standing right next to somebody to feel their energy, or for them to feel your energy, or for energy to pass through, or even for you to call on certain energy. So I just wanted to mention that too, because that's what you get into when you start to tap into your chakras.
That's right. It moves no matter what. Mm-hmm. It doesn't disappear. Mm-hmm. We all know that energy transforms. It turns into itself. Energy generates energy. And it takes on attributes, whether they're negative, they're positive, they can be strong, they can be weak. I don't want to go too far into what I believe, but I definitely believe that is our makeup. I know we have bones and we have blood and we have our spirit, because that's what God gave us. But that spirit is energy, and what you do with it is choice.
And it's worth mentioning too, right? Because I always think about this, how intricate the body is made and how the body functions. And then I also think about how God made the earth, right? And for us to work in combination with the earth and with the solar system. So, listen, I'm God's child all day, every day, but God made all of this. And he made it with a purpose that God didn't, there's nothing that he could do wrong, right? So all of this was done for a reason. So when you think about tapping into what she was going to go through with you and talk about, this is all God's making, right? He made all of this for our purpose, for a reason, for us to be able to tap in it, for us to be able to utilize the resources that we need to have life and life more abundantly, as it says in the Bible. And abundance is not just talking about finances. It's about your health. It's about your relationships. It's about your energy. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Absolutely. So, in my work with Dominique, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about where how I'm feeling, what my energy level is that day, what if I can pinpoint a word that says how I'm feeling that day. Some days I can, some days I have to pull for those words. Some days my numbers are really good and some of them are not. And then we discuss it. That's my moment to discuss with her why that number is that number, or I feel like I just want to say to her why that number is that number. And it could have been millions of things that happened throughout the day or the week prior to that meeting. Just to give you, I really can't say that this is exactly how it's always going to go. Like Tracy said, she's done the work as well. It's different for everyone. You get out of it is what you get out of it. But you almost, just like she said, the earth is made by God too. So it has that same energy that transforms itself into other energy. So what you're doing is, what I feel like I'm doing is relaxing enough to be in tune with my surroundings, to understand. And for me, that means I'm breathing deeply. I'm tuning out noises that are just, I guess, white noise or dark noise or whatever you want to call it, or a noise that just is normal everyday noise. And I'm hearing my breath. I'm hearing I'm actually now sitting on my recliner in my living room for today's show, because this is where I sit and I want to get in that relaxed state, and I want to just consume myself with the thoughts and commune with God. So that's how we start. We start off with how I'm feeling, what my energy level is, what my number is, and then we start the cleansing process. And really, that's just clearing out all of the 7 areas in the body that are bogged down with all what we do, all what we take on throughout the day and our lives. Something she always mentions when we're talking is the things that I may be cleaning out or clearing out that may come out may not be current. They may be some past. And because I've worked with her for a couple of weeks now, she said to me specifically, there's a lot of past holdings that I have, and I've been, trying to push them out. But
and that's an interesting point too. I remember going through it with her as well, and learning some things from the past that were still, that I didn't think was holding me down, or that I was still, kind of keeping, right? But I guess it was so deep down, I didn't really recognize it. But it's worth saying that, we hold on to things, and it may show up in our body in places where it doesn't register maybe until you do this type of work. And then you start to feel things a little bit differently, because now you, like you said, you're sitting quiet, you're paying attention more, you're going inside, you're going internal, right, to really figure out what's happening. And you start to notice things in your body that maybe what may have seemed normal to you before is not normal anymore, because now you're starting this cleansing process.
Absolutely. I guess the first time I would say, you know, I'm listening to what she's saying and she's going to the different areas, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Not that I'm any expert, but I just know what she talks to me about in the areas of the body where we work, and what the actual seven chakras are. But I remember going through it, and the very first time that I did the cleansing process, I cried the entire time. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I just kept bawling.
It's not
And
about what you're supposed to, though. It's about
I
what
know
comes up for you, right? So that was your process.
it was. And, you know, during the process, you'll hear the great part about it is nothing, you know, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, that she's hypnotizing me or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with hypnotism, but you're in such a state that you're relaxed enough to allow your body to do what your body does. Because we are that. Our bodies are made to regenerate, to restore themselves, to clean themselves out. But we're sometimes so bogged down by the life that we live and the things that happen in our lives that we don't release the things that turn into blockages. We don't get over them. So then we carry them around and they become ours. I don't want them. They become ours, and we don't even realize it because we are living and doing and just moving forward. And you know how we say we suck it up. Oh, we do. We got to do. Oh, that's all a part of that. You're holding on to all of those things. So when she would go through the different areas, I would feel something in certain areas, and she would say to you, she'll say to you, you may feel that in your shoulder, or you may feel that in your shoulder blade in the back. And there was a few times where there was like funny tingling, sometimes pain shooting in certain areas. And then after I go through that cleansing process, she would say to me, oh, this is what that is, or there's feminine energy there, or there's a loss or a feeling of responsibility or control in that area. So she would say that's why you would feel something there, or you may feel something more later. I think that was one of the bigger things. Tracy, I don't know if you remember this part. After you go through that session or that cleansing process and you come back and you're awake and you talk about it, she tells you it's going to be a long week. She'll tell you what the week could possibly be like and what you're going to experience. Please hydrate yourself because it doesn't end right there. It's an ongoing thing. So my first week was kind of rough because I drank water that day, but I didn't think about it to be more cognizant of drinking and hydrating myself. So you can get run down. Your body is doing what it normally would do.
It's releasing. It's releasing. And sometimes when you start to, it's just like releasing waste from your body, right? Like when you defecate, right? It's the same thing because you're releasing. So it starts to deplete some of your energy. I can remember going through sessions with her where I was like, I have to lay down. Like there was a couple of sessions where I laid down because it was just so much was being drawn out. And it was showing up in so many different ways that I was like, I have to lay down. And there was a couple of times I even took a nap afterwards because it was that serious. But then after the nap, I felt really good, right? Because I was able to kind of let things go, get the rest that I needed after releasing, and then was able to replenish in that way. But yeah, there were so many things that came up. I'm going to let you continue because I have some stories.
Well, we're talking about the process, so wherever you want to share, you can. I gotta say, I fell asleep during a session before because I don't know, in my mind I'm thinking, oh, I'm so relaxed, but I can remember her saying it's what did she say? It's congested. It's
Mm.
very congested there in certain areas. And it would take her, because she's moving through each area, it took her longer certain days for certain areas. And you could tell. So I'm, trying to focus on what I should be releasing, what we're trying to get rid of. And she's focused on whether it's actually coming out.
Yeah.
And it was taking longer. And I can remember dozing or feeling like, I'm depleting. So I'm resting enough to wake back up. I definitely fell asleep after the sessions. And then I can remember having some better sleep certain nights after my sessions.
Yeah.
But it really does take a lot out of you. If you do it. I mean, you take it honest and serious, and you really want to release.
Feel receptive.
Right. You really want to release and be, oh, I didn't know what happened there.
You're back. You are back.
I'm back. I wasn't releasing, I promise. I just hit a button.
I can also remember like just mucus clearing out. Like I had to blow my nose like a lot, and a lot was coming out after doing a session. And I can remember one time where I wasn't like, my eyes, I kept saying to her, my eyes are leaking, because it wasn't like I was crying or doing an act of crying. They were just running like your nose would run. Right. It was the strangest thing to me, because I'm like, I'm not really crying, but my eyes are leaking. And she's like, that's just a part of it. Like, that's just a part of things coming out. And I was like, wow.
I have to, okay, then maybe that was that. Because I was like, all right, I'm done crying, because I thought I was crying again, but my eyes, I'm still wiping, and she's talking and my face is soaking wet. And I'm like, okay, all right. But you're right. Now, see, you helped me with that, because I wouldn't think that. I didn't think that. I definitely knew it when my nose was constantly running. And I'm trying to listen to her and make sure that I'm paying attention to what I'm feeling. And my nose is, I'm like sucking in, and I'm like, oh my God, is this supposed to happen? I'm so overly analytical that I'm thinking, oh my God, your nose is running and you're trying to have a cleansing session, not thinking that is a part of it.
Part of it, yeah.
And I never do. And I talk to her afterwards, and she'll say, that's a part of it. She'll tell me, like, it's almost like giving me reprieve. That's a part of it.
Yeah. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back. Don't go anywhere, everyone, because we're gonna hear more about the cleansing process. I'm not gonna put it on you, but we're gonna shameless cleansing process.
Cleansing process.
Here we go, everyone.
You are watching FEM Talk on Trajectory TV. Welcome and enjoy the show.
And we are back, everyone. And if you missed the first half of this show, we are talking about the cleansing process.
I just gotta say, because we start the show letting you know that our co-host, Miss Dr. Mimi Simmons, is on vacation. And on vacation with her son, who is our producer, Nick Simmons.
Yes.
And they are in the comments. Why? Because they are just watching us from Mexico.
Yes. And I was going to bring this up because I saw this and I was like, I'm going to wait till the break for this one. So we were thinking alike. Yep. So I wanted to bring this up because they are watching from Mexico. And then Dr. Simmons says, officially makes FEM Talk international. So yes,
Absolutely. So
you
you
can
gotta
see
you
us.
gotta love our love for each other because they are on vacation and they're just making sure we're having a great show as always.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So we're gonna go back to talking about these wonderful areas of the body. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned them. So you know, if you feel like you want to look them up or reach out to the Oracle of Apollo, better known as Dominique Rivera, or even one of us at FEM Talk so we can talk about it. The chakras, I'm pretty you've heard of, most people have heard of, hopefully. They talk about those areas of the body that hold certain energies in different areas. The crown one, of course, it's the head and the brain, and it's the place where your vision is, and the regular vision, not the third eye vision, the regular vision, and cognitive things. It's the place and out to make this easy for you to understand, because I had to make it easy for me to understand. It's the place where you understand the thought process. Is the crown chakra. Then you have the third eye chakra, which is pretty much in this area. And you hear people talk about that area when you have intellectual heightenedness, I should say. If you hear people say they have ESP or they have intuition, things like that, it comes from this third eye. This is where you get that. I don't necessarily want to call it
Wisdom.
Yeah, and it's a natural wisdom. It just automatically sits there. It's the I see area. And this is you see with your eyes, but you also see with your mind. So it's a combination. Then there's the throat chakra. And that's the I speak area. Also, when you talk about the body parts, and I say that for me because that is something common, it's that thyroid area, the neck area where you hold a lot of responsibility and accountability in that area. A lot of weight on your shoulders area where you take on everything.
That's the place where like truth and integrity comes from also.
Absolutely. Then you have the heart chakra, and we all know that runs the gamut. That is the healthy heart, and the loving heart. And that is the I love area. That's the loving area. You also feel like anxiety there or depression there. Sometimes respiratory illnesses rest there. Then the fifth one it says solar plexus. And that is that whole liver, pancreas area. It's the I do area. All the things that we feel like we have to do. The I shoulds. This is what she would say to me. I should, I could, I would. It's those demands that you put on yourself. Sometimes you find them in that area. Then there's the sixth area is called the sacral chakra. It's where you feel stuff. It's like for women, it's that fertility area. It's the kidney and the gallbladder area, that lower back area. And then the final area is the root chakra.
That's also where I mean, we gotta be. It's also where
Right.
creativity, sexuality, pleasure, like all of that comes from that sacral area.
Exactly. And then the root chakra is the base, and that is just like your metabolism, your stability. It's the I am. It's the core, or somewhat the core of who you are. It's the I am areas, and you just it's also the grounding area. I wanted to say that. I'm glad it's last. I'm glad it was last on this place because it's the place that sets the foundation for you, that stabilizes you as a person, and your energies and what you deal with when you don't deal with. So imagine what you don't deal with in the root of your body that doesn't stabilize you.
Yeah.
What can happen? I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that we've never done that." The older people would probably say, "Oh, you don't worry about those things. Those things happen no matter what. Just because you don't talk about it, if we never made mention to it, doesn't mean they haven't been referred to in other ways." My mom is a good old country girl, so she'll say some of the, whatever you would think, well, that's country thinking, but it still ties into these type of thoughts. This is just the more, I guess this is the textbook version of it, Tracy.
Yeah, it's also where, like, when you talk about the root too, it's like where survival comes from, right?
Exactly.
It's the fight or flight area also. It's where you like think about your basic needs, like your food, your shelter, the things that you need. So you're in survival mode in that root chakra area. That's where all like the grounding and all that comes from as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're
I wanted
all.
to
I'm sorry, guys.
mention something about the solar too. Like in that solar area is where you have like willpower and self-esteem and
basic trust.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant to go back. I wanted to say basic trust, but that's the root.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to say that. What I meant to say was creativity, and I say that because I focus there a lot, and
That's
that's
the
in that
sacral.
soul. That's the sacral, yeah.
That's the
Did you not
sacral.
say sacral?
I said solar. I
Oh,
was
I'm
thinking
sorry.
about like your willpower, your
Oh,
personal
yes.
power. You kind of tapping into your self-esteem, that area. That's the solar. So
Oh,
I just
yes.
wanted to
I apologize.
mention that as well. And as we're talking about these, right? When you think about it, when you think about all that you can tap into, all that you have the ability to tap into, you really start to think about how we were made and what we were given, as we said earlier, right? If you really start to tap into some of these things, like the power that can come out of you, the things that you will be able to start to release in order to really exercise that power. Because God has a plan for all of us, right? And we all have these gifts and talents that He's given us, but oftentimes we don't really tap into them fully. When you start to tap into some of these things and you start to really understand your own personal power and what we're really given, man, there's nothing that you can't do. But all of these things, me and Shima talk about this all the time. It's a choice to start to believe in what you've been given and really start to tap into it, and then allow things to work in your favor, right?
Yeah. And we always say, listen to your body. We talk about a whole lot of things here on FEM Talk, and we always say, listen to your body and let your body tell you. But this is just another way of understanding what your body is saying. In most of her sessions, or all of her sessions, she'll make sure that I understand that your body is going to do and feel some things. Don't overlook it thinking, oh, that's just a pain. Oh, that's just, that's normal. I felt like lately I've been feeling this funny pain in the bottom of my foot, and I thought it was something. And then because I've felt other pangs throughout this process that I just took for granted, and she pointed out what it could be, and it made me pay attention to what I was thinking or doing or feeling during those times. It turned out that the foot was really not anything. It was something physical. But I paid attention enough to realize that it was not something that I was harboring, but something I needed to really look at. But it's all a part of that. They all work hand in hand. I want to be clean. I want to be cleansed, and I want to be whole and healthy. But I also want to be healthy in the physical aspect. So differentiating what is my body depleting bad energy and I guess some people would say bad juju, and what my body is actually doing to heal itself, you need to know that. And you only know that by knowing your body.
And they work in combination, right?
Absolutely.
So if there's something that's showing up for you in your environment, in your thoughts, right? it could show up physically, right, and start to attack your physical body. So it all works together, which is why this is important. So I know you said juju. Some people might think this is woo woo, right? Like,
That's why I said it. That's why
but
I said it.
it's really not when you really start to think
Right.
about. Again, I just go back to saying, think about how intricate the body is made, and our ability to be able to heal our bodies naturally. So you think about some of the things that bog you down in your environment and things that you go through in your life, which we can't avoid, right? Things happen. They're going to they're going to continue to happen, and we have to learn how to deal with them. But these are ways for you to really tap into, okay, how do I now deal with this? If I've taken it in, now how do I release it so that I can heal from it?
Absolutely. And I wanted to share a few of like the imbalances. We have a few more minutes to share a few of the imbalances so that you can understand your body, just as Nick said, understand your body and the whole aspect, every aspect of it. In that, if you're starting from the top, some of the things that you'll feel if it's an imbalance, some of the things that you'll feel, you start at that the crown, is dizziness and vision issues and cognitive issues and memory problems and nervous system imbalances. When I would, after the day after the cleanse, if I slept good and I did exactly what I should have done, whatever my mantras are, I do normally. I sleep, I eat, I hydrate, I wake up, and there was so much clarity in the morning when I wake up that I felt like I got so much done. Like, I mean, I energize a bunny times 10. Because I just felt like there was enough clearing for me to be able to just knock out all of the tasks that I have, or all of the things that you have in your brain that you want to get out and do that you don't normally get a chance to. It just felt like it was so clear and so ready for me to just put them out there. So, cleaning out that area is key for those for me that day, it was key. In the brow, in that third eye, you'll have ear and eye issues. You can feel imbalanced, just regular balance issues, meaning your equilibrium could be off. Your sleep may be interrupted, and and they specifically say paralysis, meaning no sleep, none. You're having learning disabilities. Your hormones are dysfunctional. Listen, you may feel those areas, and I should say I say tingling because it does happen when you're going through women who are going through menopause, and we just take it for granted because it's menopause and our hormones are out of control. There may be a cleansing that you can do for that one area or the whole body, but for that area that will help with hormonal dysfunctions, with symptoms. There's a lot of hormonal symptoms when you're going through menopause. So think about those clearing those areas. Under the throat chakra, of course, throat area, throat issues, thyroid, neck stiffness, cold symptoms lie there. Issues with breathing, all the lung issues, all the asthma, those type of things. Think about clearing. I'm not saying, please understand, there's no medical advice being given here. You may be asthmatic, but it may be because there's a blockage there that will not allow your body to restore its lung capacity or the breathing capacity in your lungs. So think about both sides, modern medicine and Western medicine.
Yeah, I love that. I always say that all things should come together. You got to bring the two together for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Then there's the heart chakra, chronic fatigue, upper back pain, heart related issues, anxiety and depression, respiratory ailments. Stuff that we deal with every day. We talk about people with diabetes. We talk about people with heart disease. We talk about people with high blood pressure. It doesn't mean that you don't need physical medicine, once again, but it also means that you may just need a clearing. That solar chakra area that Tracy was talking about earlier with you'll see things like indigestion there, panic attacks, liver problems, frequent illnesses. And I spoke about high blood pressure, and it was more in this area. But when you think about frequent illnesses, if you're constantly getting a cold all the time, that was me. Also cleanse too in a different way.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know why? Because that's the digestive area, right? So if you are harboring things in that solar plexus area, that is like the center, right? You have a brain in your gut, right? So that is that's the center of all illnesses. And I'm gonna leave it at that because we're not talking about the digestive system.
I was gonna say, because I was gonna say, well, if you can cleanse that, right? If you can physically cleanse that part and energetically cleanse that part, imagine what your body would do. Exactly. Imagine. And then there's the sacral chakra with the lower back. Like Tracy said, the fertility area for both men and women. Digestive problems also lie there. Lack of energy. Any kind of kidney and gallbladder problems rest there. So all those pains that we don't know anything about, because think about it. Can you go around and say my kidney hurts? Or can you say my gallbladder is giving me a problem unless it's diagnosed or detected? So, think about it. Think about where those things lie. Everybody has Google. Go out and Google where these areas are and think about what you're feeling when you feel these funny pains in your body. And of course, then there's the root chakra, the bottom, the base, the foundation of you. And things like the imbalances that lie there, clumsiness, sleep issues, poor circulation. Yeah. We negate that. We overlook that one all the time. Everybody does. Because you just don't think that your body's not flowing the way it should because you're still walking and breathing and talking and doing all these things. Poor circulation makes a big difference. The reproductive area, reproductive problems lie there, and issues with metabolism.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention with the root chakra too, is like that's connected to your spine, right? Which sends all of the signals to your body from your brain. So if your spine is not functioning properly, you can't get the signals that you need in order for the rest of your body organs to function the way that they should.
Yeah. Yeah. The more you think about it, I just have to think about my sessions with her and learning all of this. Because, first few times I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's in those areas. So now when you're doing the homework and you're thinking about what you're feeling and what you're going through. And for me, it was high levels of responsibility and taking on everybody else's responsibilities and being accountable and feeling guilty about feeling. I have to be a little more specific before we leave. And that is just, I was feeling guilt for choices that I thought that I wanted, but I was feeling the guilt because I was second guessing myself. I wasn't trusting me and my own decision because I take on what other people say and do as my own. So that was something I know these things. We most of the time we know we're doing it. We just don't address the fact that we're doing it or acknowledge it. Yeah. That was that's a little bit of my cleansing. I mean, I'm still doing it. I took a little hiatus.
Quick question before we go, because we're down to the last. But was there any unusual events that took place as a result of doing this cleansing? Something that a little outside of the norm?
It would have to be the physical feelings. I remember there feeling like it wasn't tingles. It almost felt like there was walking across, like little tiny feet just walking across my shoulder blades, or my shoulders here, down my shoulders, down my back,
Mm-hmm.
And I was done. I was already out. We were back, in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And we had also done another activity where that's a grounding activity
Mm-hmm.
that made me stay in the present, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking what's next, and
Mm-hmm.
forgetting about what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was part of that day. And I felt like I was walking through the house, and I felt like there was, like, I don't know, maybe fingers, but it felt like walking. It was just walking.
Wow. And that's interesting that that happened after the fact. We have
After.
to, and versus like while you're in session. But we
Absolutely.
have to close out the show, everyone. We hope that you have enjoyed the cleansing process. We will see you back here next week. Actually, our producer and Dr. Melissa Simmons will be here next week, and Shima and I will be on vacation. So we're swapping now. So we'll be supporting them as well and
Absolutely.
watching from wherever we are in the world next week. But make sure that you tune in next week to see Dr. Melissa Simmons and producer Nick Simmons as they talk about, and I'm not going to give it away, so you got to tune in 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. Take care, everyone.